I get. You gonna help me do this, kid? Can you 2 pinches? Hey everybody. Important State of the Island address today. Today's a very big day for us. It's our annual kennel license inspection today. So here in a little while, we're going to have a representative, an officer from our local humane society, our animal control, come out, make sure we're doing everything right. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the changes we made around here, because we're always trying to improve. But most importantly, I get asked so often, how do you do this? How'd you get started? How do I get started? What direction do I go in? So I figured I'd at least let you in on this a little bit. I talked to them about possibly videoing them being here, and as of right now, they're not comfortable with it. It would have to come from the director themselves, not the officer, and since the director's not here, we can't really do an interview with them. So there goes my idea for lives and everything else. But you know, for those that are thinking of doing even a small home-based rescue or sanctuary, you know, the big thing is if you're going to be in business, obviously you got your taxes and you got your departments you have to go to, get licensed and incorporated and so forth and all that, and your nonprofit, which is a big pain in the ass. But most importantly, you need to check your local regulations, whether it be county or city or whatever in some cases, as to how many animals you're actually allowed to house in your house before it becomes beyond pets. And it's anywhere, in some cases as stringent as 2. I believe in our county it's 7. I think any more than 7 you have to have a license. And in our county there's 3 different types of licenses. There's a license for breeders, there's a license for rescues and sanctuaries, which is what I am, and then there's a license for boarders. And they're all different. They all have different things that you have to, qualifications you have to meet. Since we have no kennels outdoors or anything like that, mine is fairly simple and easy. In fact, I just come through with a video camera, shake my hand, and I, make sure everything's clean and all that, and just show videos to all their friends of how cool this is, which is awesome for me. It's wonderful. They're a great organization to work with. But basically, like if I had a kennel outside, like some of you might if you're going to do this, you have to provide adequate shelter, food, water, et cetera, et cetera. It has to be clean all the time. Access to being clean, and you have to show all this stuff. For me here, I just have to basically show how I'm not a hoarding case, even though there's X amount of dogs here, which in this case is currently 95. And last year when we did this, there was close to this number, not quite this amount. And when he walks in, the guy says, "Man, you could have 30 more here and you wouldn't even notice it." That's how good we keep it clean. So yeah, you always want to be up and up with the with your animal control, because if you're not, then all of a sudden if somebody, your neighbors call or anybody calls, and as you guys know, I had people calling animal control from across the country trying to accuse me of being a hoarding case. That's why for 2 years he told me, please don't divulge how many you have, because I don't want to deal with the chaos and the headache. And now we've gotten such a huge social media following with such a huge amount of support. They've seen the place enough. Even my animal control was like, screw them, you can tell them whatever you want. Like, he's like, I'm not even worried about it anymore, brother. Like, that's how cool they are. So anyway, obviously things are clean around here. We did do some minor adjustments. For those of you that have done the island tours before, you'll notice that we're kind of like more wide open now than we have been. In preparation for our, you want to sit here, Nugs? Sit there, because I know you're going to want your attention, so you'll sit right up there and like, hi, Amara.
Oh, I didn't even see her.
I didn't see her. She's checking stuff out. So basically, last State of the Island, I mentioned that we were going to be putting in a huge 2-story shed. And what's going to happen is a lot of our storage stuff, a lot of our supplies, etc. Let me stand somewhere else.
Oh yeah, there's the glare from the...
A lot of the supplies, how about some TV? Well, we can't see Nugget.
Well,
So, here we go.
there.
Is that better? There we go. So a lot of our supplies and everything like that is outside in the garage, which is also where we currently feed, is going into the storage unit. We're putting electricity in there. We're gonna move everything, including my motorcycle, a bunch of stuff from the basement, so we can get, even though my basement's finished, we're gonna get the storage room cleaned out, turn that into the exercise room, really trying to streamline this so that my big extra large 2-car garage can actually end up being, here, you want me to sit down with you, kiddo? Can actually end up being a playroom for these dogs, not just a feeding area. So we're putting heat and everything out there. We're insulating it better so that it can be a year-round thing out there. I know she's got something she picked up from one of the toys, so she'll be all right. I'll get her in a minute.
Oh.
No, just keeping Nugget busy. So in doing so, we're gonna do epoxy floors out there, and we've removed at least 8 of these Kalexes. These things are these cubbies that you guys asked me about. Let's do that real quick. Show my face real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody asked me what these are. These are called Kalexes, K-L-L-E-X. They're from IKEA. The boxes in the top, I believe they're called Drona, D-R-O-N-A. The boxes in the bottom with the holes cut in are called Lurvig, L-U-R-V-I-G. You can find all of this stuff at IKEA. So each one of these systems here, 8 boxes, 4 dog beds, literally cost me less than $80 or less than $100 per unit. So We've got 8 more of them that were in here because we were really just gone overboard trying for organization and everything like that. And we streamlined everything. Who is that? Lucy Lou, come here, baby. So we streamlined that. And those 8 are actually going to get bolted to the walls out in the playroom when we design it, so that they can still have this kind of system out there, even though we're going to have all kind of fun stuff in the middle of the floor for them, and we're going to be able to feed and all that. So in doing so, we've opened up everything a lot nicer. I think it's pretty cool. I think they're going to enjoy it. Can I get it?
Oh,
So-
peed.
But in the effort of always trying to make things better, I'm gonna take you a look at these here. And I got a video I'll splice in as we were changing them around. You saw the post I put up about pinches where she was helping Dad. Well, what Dad was doing is he's taking these Kalexes and he's kind of making them a little bit better than they were. We originally had these, we put them on the floor. Well, what happens? Okay, here's another little secret. We're never clean, okay? Dogs pee and poop everywhere. We just constantly clean it up. And we have marking. There's no way to stop marking, especially if you get a new female in that might not be altered yet or something like that. You're gonna have marking. And when one marks, they all mark. So imagine this, they always wanna mark on the corners of stuff, right? So when I had them to the floor, you can imagine what happened. Soaked in, right? So I made little wooden blocks, spray painted them black, had them up on blocks. They weren't tall enough, still marked. So my latest system, and I'll splice in the video here in a second, shows how I actually took big, huge, thick pieces of 2-inch foam, the big sheets, and I cut it down to size, smaller than the size of the Kalex itself, wrapped them with black electrical tape, and set them underneath almost as if it's like a toe kick. And that seemed to work pretty good until I raised them up. So cut the video.
Come here, my peaches girl. Come here, my princess. Come here, lady. Come on, lady. Oh, good.
Pinches, you stay back, baby. And so this is what, the old system we had where I got the foam, again, raised it up, made them smaller than the Kalexes themselves so that we had an underhang, so I was hoping it would help with the marking. But some dogs are still very talented and they were able to mark. So underneath, as you can see, I pulled one up here already. And the smell, although not there before, is almost unbearable now. And they can sense that. So you can see, just how horrible this is. So in an effort to, constantly experiment, because I don't know everything, trying to make it better as we go. That's why we're doing this system. Stop following me at this point.
Oh my god, it won't stop.
Oh, that's nasty. So as you can see from that video I just spliced in from the other day when we were doing this change around, how even though you think it's clean and even though it doesn't smell, as you get close to it, you can really pick up that scent, and of course they smell. They have 40 times more acute sense of smell than we do, so they're picking up on it. They're peeing all over the place. So for us to do it this way, here's what's going on here. I'm gonna do it like this so I don't ruin anything. There's my flat Holly. Everybody follows Holly. I love her. For the ladies that work here as well as myself, to make it easy, I've put them on wheels. I've put them on casters, okay? And now they can just roll them out so we can clean underneath as easy as possible, right? We can vacuum underneath, right? Put them right back so that we can be very thorough in our cleaning at all times. There's not a piece of furniture here that can't be moved with literally almost 2 fingers.
And the wheels have brakes.
So, and the wheels have brakes so we can keep them locked into place. So, it's a constant work in progress. That's the last thing I want to say about this for anybody that's thinking of starting a sanctuary is you can't sit back on your laurels. You can't sit back and say, okay, well, I'm here. No, you're never there. The dogs will constantly change you. The dogs are constantly going to change the needs that you have. My social media following has changed the needs that I have. We never set out to have this many dogs here. That's why I'm building a new sanctuary in Florida that's going to actually house rescues as well to help other rescue areas. And I'm going to try to do that from different states and move on, Puerto Rico, Texas. I'm going to try to do this right where nobody has done it before. Combination sanctuary, rescue. But it's a constant work in progress because of these guys. Nuggets always got to give it time. So you have to constantly think of ways to improve, to make it better for the dogs, but to not also, I'm learning more than anything now, not to over spoil the dogs. Because if you spoil them, you end up actually letting the inmates run the prison. And I hate to say it like that because it's not what this is. It's not a prison. We're not trying to institutionalize it. But you have to have some form of discipline. You have to have some form of regulations. And Chihuahuas are notorious for this. Everybody says, oh my gosh, they love to be snuggled in their little blankets in their little bed. You're absolutely right about that. And if you have 1, 2, or even 5, that's great. Have all your individual beds and stuff, especially in the wintertime. But in the summertime, that is territorial. That is fights. That is marking and pissing, and you're doing nothing but cleaning blankets and beds all day long. So what we do here is I do try to keep it a little bit cooler temperature-wise. Try to keep as many of the blankets and beds out until the wintertime. And what happens is the dogs will then, and of course there's plenty of soft places to sit. We have cots, you know, the cubbies have pillows in them. We have the couches. And what happens is they will not only use those instead of the blankets and the beds, but they'll huddle together, body heat for warmth. And what that does is it promotes a sense of unity, a sense of family. Instead of being territorial over my blanket, my bed, they're like, hey bud, can I sit down and can I sit down here and lay down and get warm with you? And all of a sudden you have dogs that 2 weeks ago were fighting over blankets and beds, who are now best buds because they're now family. So.
And then you have 5 trying to fit in the cubby together.
And then you literally have 5 of them fitting in a cubby together. So it's really cute. So we, you know, in doing this, we're learning as we go. Again, not trying to take away from them at all, but trying to make a home life for them that is not chaotic, that is not stressful. And to be honest, they are loved, they are warmth, they are cuddled, but they have to cuddle and learn with each other with this many. So if anything, we're not taking away from them. We're trying to broaden their horizons. So again, if you're going to be doing a sanctuary such as this, and again, there's no blueprint for it. I'm making this shit up as I go, guys. I swear to God, I'm winging it. I'm winging it. That's why I had to do this 4 different times, and hopefully this is the final time to make it right. But that's what's involved. You got to constantly change it up. You can't sit back and say, okay, I'm comfortable, I'm here. No, you're constantly fixing stuff. When I get this new sanctuary in Florida, I'm literally going to have to pay somebody to be a full-time groundskeeper / handyman / janitor on top of all the women and men that are taking care of the dogs on a daily basis between feeding and cleaning and loving and everything else. So, yeah, that's right, Nugs? This one in particular, she needs at least a 6-man crew to take care of her. All right, guys, so that's it for this State of the Island. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you soon.